Thank God for the French army. Winston Churchill, 1933. And then there's another quote by Joseph Goebbels. I asked you, do you want a total war? If necessary, do you want a war more total and radical than anything that we ever imagine yet? Alright, so there's a couple quotes for you guys. I'll note at this point, by the way, that I was playing with Spain recently. Managed to make it through the Civil War, winning it with the Republicans, so I got the achievement for that. I also played another game where I basically got 1,000 convoys, so I got an achievement for that as well, but that game was sort of like a wash, sort of what I was basically trying to accomplish, so not really going to worry about it. Anyhow, let's just jump back into Honduras here. And we're going to hit Venezuela this episode. Alrighty then. So right now we're basically building up for war. I need another few days for it. And I basically have my armies training. I don't know why, but whatever. There's a couple more armies to be, trained, so let's just get trained up, and then we'll turn off the training for my guys. So, New Zealand issues diplomatic protest. Alright, so, New Zealand envoys have lodged a strong diplomatic protest with our government regarding the presence of our attaché in nations they are currently in a military conflict with. They demand the immediate withdrawal of our military mission. So it's basically something that, sometimes you'll basically see whenever an attaché. For those who don't remember, I basically put an attaché on Germany here. And basically what New Zealand is basically saying right here, we don't like this. Take them out. So you can basically do as they want right here. So you can recall it. Or you can basically say, our attaché will be sent where we please. And this will basically, reduce, their opinion of us by quite a bit. So let's just do this, I guess. That'll kill 5 of my political power to do, but whatever, it's fine. And yeah, basically over here fighting the Russians, the Germans are. To be honest, I really could just do this right here. These guys are the ones that actually have to train, so let's just do it just them. That'll help save my equipment, even though I probably don't need to save it that much, but whatever. Okay, one of them's done. And there we go, they're done. Awesome. So, we got basically fully regularized the guys. And all our stuff basically going for them. I may want to do this just to get my war support up a little bit. That's always good to do. We're basically at 100% tension at this point, so getting my war, support up a little bit would be, great for, just boosting up my, ability to, do stuff. Alright, so, blah, blah, we're angered by Venezuela posturing. Those naive citizens of Central American Empire who imagine the Venezuelan as a people of peace are entirely out of touch with reality. It's basically we've already, seen this one already, so we're just going to skip it. Hey, look at that, the battlecruiser is done. Awesome. Alright, so basically research battlecruiser. That's this one right here. We're just going to start researching battleship, I think, next. We've already got the capital ship effect in, so, we're not getting any benefit to that, but whatever. We're currently working destroyer effect right now. Actually, think about it. It would probably make more sense if I went for destroyer just to get this one up a little bit, so. Yeah, we're just going to do this. Destroyer 2. Get that out of the way. Anyways, I'll note over here, by the way, because I got the attaché with these guys, all the other allies aren't going to like me that much, I think. Yeah, basically attaché sent to an enemy, so they don't like that too much, these guys who, you know, basically, I'm not at war with, but, you know, there's just a thing about it. These guys are currently just fighting and fighting and fighting. Interesting how it's like open space over here, but whatever. Also interesting how we're almost at Kiev. How will it go? I may want to start researching this stuff soon, I think. By the way, I'll know at this point, like, the time's going much, like, slower when it speeds up. I'll know in this game, as, like, time progresses, it'll get slower and slower, like, you know, as it, you know, just to move around in time, because there's so much basically being done with the AI. Like, they're having to move, like, all the units for, like, all the enemies, and there's lots more unit space to move around, so this game gets progressively slower as it goes along, you know, even at, like, the maximum speed as you can see here. Cool, that's done. Out of the way. Let's go over here and we'll get one of these things right here. So note, by the way, that I basically have streamlined production and flexible line over here. I haven't really been going over like what like these like all do, like production efficiency and stuff like that, but essentially there's like stuff to increase your production in game. There's basically like, you know, production efficiency, how efficient you are basically producing stuff, so basically producing stuff faster. And if I go over here to the other one, you also have a production cap, which is basically how much, like, you know, that efficiency you go up to. I'll note that for like each of these things here, this is really good if you like to flip around your production lines a lot, and this is really good if you like to start keeping them where they are. I'll note that with my like production, basically, we basically like to keep stuff more or less where it is. So I'm probably going to go with like the one for well, it's doing here, basically. I'm probably going to go with this right here, growth. Probably. Because I'm not really, like, you know, looking to, like, you know, basically flip around stuff. I'm looking to retain what I'm basically currently producing for the most part and keep, like, you know, producing it. So we'll go for this one here. I know with, like, different nations in the game, you have to have, like, different strategies. But for, like, you know, the basic countries, usually you just want to go with, like, this setup here, by the way, where you basically have, like, you know, streamline line, concentrated industries, lots of construction. For more major nations like Italy or Germany or United States, you can like do a lot of different things. But for like these guys, you know, you basically want to concentrate, like, you know, what you're basically good at. And yeah, slowly going along with this guy. It takes a while to basically warn people, but whatever. You know what? Let's just get these guys ready. They're going to be ready to invade. And this guy... What's your job? I didn't set this guy's naval invasion yet. Alright, let's get you to do your thing. You're going to go from here. So I'll note with this guy here, there's basically a couple spots over here that you can invade. I usually like to go after like this harbor here, because if you get to harbor, then you can have like another spot basically to, like, you know, belong to front from. So if I take that out, I can basically attack from the back. Usually, like what happens in this game, by the way, Venezuela usually leaves this spot unguarded. They leave this one guarded over here, this like spot, because it's basically next to a harbor and like, or not harbor, but it's next to the United States land over here. But this one over here can like take out and like land troops in there and do stuff with. And that's going to take you how long? It'll take you this 8 days apparently. Okay, you're going to go down here, and you're just going to do some convoy escort. I guess this guy's able to go really fast now because of the fact he's got like invader, so he basically like can prepare himself a lot faster. Blah blah. Now, I'll note, by the way, that after I take Venezuela, I'm not really sure if I'm able to conquer much else with, like, the Central American Empire. There's basically only so much I can basically conquer this, like, nation Honduras, because once you basically take out, like, all these nations, like, all the rest of them are, like, here's, like, Brazil, for example. Brazil basically has, like, almost, like, up to, like, 1 million manpower, possibly, for, like, recruiting from, even though they got, like, only a small army to begin with. They also have lots of planes that they can, like, harass me with. If I go after Peru, they basically have lots of planes as well. They also have a small navy, so I can't do amphibious invasions very well against them. By the way, these guys have a navy too. And on top of that, these guys also have a good pool of like guys to basically take out of, as well as like an army to start off with as well. Mexico up here, they basically have a very small army, but they also again have like 1 million people to pull from, as well as like an air force. So basically all around, like I'm able to go after Venezuela because they're a very weak nation, but the rest of these guys, it's sort of difficult to do. So, on my own, this will be like the last nation I'm basically capable of invading for the most part safely, without much basically issues basically popping up as a result of it. All right, what do I want to research at this point? I'll know at this point, by the way. I should probably start looking at this, atomic research. This might go for this right here, secret weapons or nuclear effect. Let's get this for now, I think. I won't necessarily research nuclear weapons for this game, but it's something I can basically, like, start going towards. And, like, you can basically get some good benefits from, like, the nuclear research. Basically, if you get, like, the atomic theory or whatever is out of the way, atomic research, you basically get, like, a research time, like, reduction. So it's kind of like, this over here stuff is a lot more expensive to get this technology. Like, 4 times the research time for it. High base cost in this, basically. Which is already research, so I don't really worry about that one, I guess. They're still trying over here to, like, do stuff, I guess. Looks like they're attacking Kiev, finally, though. They got a good defense there, the Soviets, but lots of attack coming from the Germans as well. Oh, look at that, they're actually starting to fight up here, these guys. Americans are pushing up through Greece if they can, I guess. There we go. I can go after the Venezuelans now. It's funny with this war. Basically, like, the war is like, basically all these guys against the Soviets and then these guys over here. I haven't seen a whole lot of, action going on with the Japanese, or I guess I should say I have, they're taking out Mongolia easily enough, I guess. Never mind. They're doing quite well, I guess. The British just basically kicking their ass up here. British are doing damage down there while they're basically caving on the Soviets over here. This is actually a very interesting game. I usually don't see like Japan going after the Soviet Union. This is actually not something that happens quite a bit. Usually they have like a non-protection pack against them, but for some reason it's different in this game. This one of random fluctuations. It's not always the same game with like historic AI on, basically. Alright, enough of that yammering. Let's just go after Venezuela here. So, this should be a fairly quick war. We're just going to declare war. These guys should push up this way, and then these guys should push that way, and then this guy will land. So, go. You're going to go over there. Basically, I outnumber these guys in like all the flanks, so it should be good for that front. Okay, here goes those guys. We're pushing up this way easily enough. Cool, we're going to take this city right away. These guys are going out there, apparently. We'll deal with that stuff in a moment, but we're just going to basically... Actually, you know what? Something I actually want to do at this point. Let's actually go to battlecruiser here. I'm actually going to start constructing a battlecruiser because I actually want to get a battlecruiser up. So, we're just going to put this right there. Once this basically is done, we'll set that at beta 1. It'll basically switch over to battlecruisers. So that's basically done. Let's go to convoys here. I'm just going to build a bunch of convoys with this one. By the way, note by the way, that takes a lot of like steel to make like the battleships and stuff. So lots of steel is basically needed to like make this thing. And if like you don't have it, it basically hampers your production by a lot. So we'll have to trade up for a little bit of steel, I guess. Let's cut off the oil then. The oil is basically used for convoys, which I'm no longer really worrying about, so won't worry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Get my steel out of the way. These guys are all fighting like crazy over here. Now this is the guy I really have to focus on because he could like have issues, but he'll get over there fast enough for the invasion. Oh yeah, something up by the way, so you have to watch out for Venezuela because they have very weak infrastructure over here, so when I land my troops they're gonna have supply problems. Blah blah. Philippines is not very happy because we're basically in Japan, or I guess you're German, so they don't like us. But whatever. All right, excellent work. We're gonna have all this stuff out of the way. At some point, I'll get this excavation stuff done, but for now, I'll not worry about it. I think I really want to start getting down to advanced artillery at this point, so let's just start researching that way. I think. And yeah, this guy, as you see, there's nothing here, so this guy's going to land with no problem. 24 troops just landed right here. And these guys can basically open the front to basically hit, over here, for example. Go. And just to make sure this guy's able to, capture as much land as possible. We're just going to have 6 troops go down here. 5 troops can go over there. At some point, they're basically going to try and defend themselves because, I'm basically attacking them from all directions now. But we're going to do a lot of damage from the back here, basically, from this. Oh, the Territorial Sikiang has capitulated. So over here, the Japanese lost their puppet over here. So the invasion British Raj. Now I want to note something by the way. All these little pockets of green here. Whenever you see these green pockets, it means there's allied troops of the fallen faction into their territory that are currently in the territory. So basically these the guys are cut off, but they're they're Japanese troops that are still active, and it's very possible if they capture the land over here, they'll basically be able to relink themselves and continue to fight easily enough. And they're still trying to attack Minsk, or they're not trying to attack Minsk over there. Oh, well, that's fine. We're attacking over here, apparently, this small group. Nope, these guys actually got here, so we're going to attack them with a lot of force, but they get pushed back easily enough. They're attacking me over here, that's fine. One of these guys I want to go over here, to basically take that like little delta, I think is what they're called. Awesome, awesome. These guys are apparently pushing me back over here. Let's have... Now, note, by the way, that these troops over here, if I cut them off with this like section of land right here, they'll be out of supplies because there's like no harbors over here for them to like, you know, ferry stuff from. So, it's in my interest to basically do that. You guys actually should go... Half of you can go here. You guys can go there. 3 of you can go here. You guys can go here. I'm planning to try and move their horses over there, so I want to stop them from doing that. Just keep attacking right there. Actually, you guys can do whatever you want. Let's just get some of these guys over here. I'm just going to make them move over here. By the way, he's actually making more troops to Venezuela at this point. I think they actually have, like, you know, less troops now. Basically, they put a bunch of guys on their capital there to help defend it. I would like to actually have them attacking that capital, so, like, you know, they can't move their troops around, but oh well. I can only do as much as I can at the moment. Let's see here. What do I want to research next? I'll start going after some more land doctrine, I think. Get this out of the way. You can get over here, I think. Let's get some of these guys attacking up here as well. Oh, look at that. So basically we got like a nice little split of our countries. So these guys are all separated from these guys, and like, you know, if I take them all out, then like, you know, they're out of action for good. So that's good. Let's get you to go here and attack like so. It's funny how I've got some of my guys attacking and some of my guys defending. Because basically I've got so many troops basically can do that, I guess. Oh, we basically got rid of them. You guys go up here. You guys just attack there. At this point I just want to squish him, right, so... Just move as quick as possible to push him out. That's done, you can go here. And yeah, I'm sort of min-maxing my guys here a little bit, but you know, it works. I'll let those guys just sit there and do whatever they want for now. Let's get 6 of these guys going after this guy here. Attack them all fronts, basically. Yeah, these guys should more or less all be retreating at this point. Slowly we're caving into our territory. He's retreating this way, retreating, they're all retreating. There we go. Oh, we took their territory already. I must have taken a capital while I wasn't looking. You have to take the capital by the way to win, but I guess we took it already, so that went pretty well for the most part. Alright, we're going to take all their states. So now I basically got all of Venezuela's land over there. On the way, that's something that's really nice about taking Venezuela is that they basically have lots of oil. So basically they got a lot of oil now from these guys. It's just a matter of like, you know, repairing their like infrastructure at this point for the most part, so that's all that has to be done. What do I want to go for these guys now, I guess? You know, I'm actually getting very low on manpower at this point, so I think we might go after service by requirement for this point, so that'll actually really hurt my, like, you know, construction and stuff and all that, factory output and everything else, but it'll give me a little bit more manpower to go with, and that's what I really need right now for stuff, so... Service by requirement on. And let's see here. That's fine, let's build one. On the bow, I only want to really build one battle cruiser too, so I'm just going to put that one right there for that. And I still have like some free military factories to do stuff with. You know, I've got so much supply equipment, I really don't need to keep getting that much anymore, so... Let's knock this down to 2. And we are going to up motorized to 15, I think. Nah, maybe 10 only. Well... Why not? Might as well we'll go for like, you know, that much just to use up the rubber. 16 actually is to get the 8. We're gonna build some trucks. I still have a few military factories left to do stuff with. You know, I have lots of infantry equipment, even though, like, you know, I'm basically upgrading my infantry equipment, so what I'm basically doing right now. I want to hold off on building this stuff as for now, so... And I don't really need transports. I don't really use paratroopers, by the way. It's something I can use in this game, but I like to go with, like, Marines or, like, Mountaineers for, like, special troopers. For those who don't understand what that's all about. Well, I got a lot of factories basically to make use of. Sure or not, we'll go with like, you know, 15... Actually, you know what, let's just go... You can actually change like, you know, like the scale for stuff, so right now I basically got 5, 5, 5 for like, you know, the different things for infantry equipment. Could go up to 16, I guess. Put that down there for now. That's going to take so much steel basically to do, but whatever. Let's just go... Grab 5 more of this. I'm grabbing lots of the steel from the United States. I'll note, by the way, that my like, you know, giving him that much of my steel is actually, like, bolstering his ability, like, to build stuff, so... I really should be walking out at this point. I actually got the convoys to send, like, you know... I have convoys, so I can actually go elsewhere for my stuff, so maybe I actually want to start doing that, I think. Let's see here. I can go to Japan and get some of their stuff, so... There's for like 24 right there. There's another 24, so that's 48. National Spain has a little bit of, like, you know, steel I can get, so... Let's grab 8 from them. I can grab 8 from Sweden. Just going to quickly activate time here. Space I've currently got a surplus of that much steel here. Just going to just drop down my steel from the United States a little bit. You know what? We're currently sort of buddy-buddy with like the Germans, so let's just boost this up with them. Why not? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rest of these guys, I'm not really that friendly with, so... Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to go for Australia, for example, because basically... Australia's only able to build so much of their construction anyway, so why not? The only one I definitely don't want to go for is like the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom, because these guys are getting bombed to like the smithereens by like, you know, the Germans, and like the Soviet Union are like also being attacked by like, you know, Germans, so basically hold off on like helping them. But alright, let's just do that. By the way, I've got lots of available airplanes in reserve now, so that's cool. And these guys took some casualties, apparently. By the way, if you lose men, they'll actually, like, you know, go down in rank when they, like, you know, basically have to replace them with, like, you know, new guys. I might have, like, trained people, but, you know, the guys for, like, these brigades are basically, like, not veterans or regular guys, so they're not as good. Okay, let's just go... We're just going to basically add an airplane division, I think, for this guy down here, so... Apparently just want to add some upgrade interwar fighters for some reason. Oh, I need people. So here's like where like the lack of my manpower is actually starting to like show itself, so... I can't actually man my like Air Force at this point. Unfortunately. Oh well. Alright, what to do with my army at this point? So, I really can't do anything at this point. Unless like I join like a faction of Peru, which I might, just to sort of show off factions. I don't think I can hit down here of like, you know, Chile or Bolivia, because I can't reach them with a naval invasion, which I would have to do. Actually, I should check that, for example. Can I get military access from you? No, he's not going to do that for me. You actually see, like, you know, what their, like, reluctance to stuff is here, so... Right now, I basically have, like, you know, a -9 with them for, like, you know, how much they like me, and I need to have it a little bit higher for them to basically accept a proposal like this. I could try and improve relations. I don't find this really helps that much. Basically, like, you know, you can try and, like, you know, make them like you a bit more, but this doesn't usually, like, you know, work very well. Let's just do that, I guess. Why not? Maybe it'll help. Who knows? Let's just get these guys all just to garrison, I guess, for the most part for now. So, you haven't seen me do this, but basically, like, garrison areas, like, you know, with, like, you know, troops. So, like, you know, if you want to have, like, you know, a garrison to, like, prevent, like, invasions or hold land or handle, like, you know, rebels and stuff, this is something you can do. Yeah, there's, like, all my captured land. These guys are basically all spread out, basically, like, you know, to guard it. Yeah, here they go. And who's not able to fulfill their requests? No one, apparently. Well, apparently neutral Ireland decided to join the Allies. So now Ireland is apparently now in the war. with their free brigades and a little bit of manpower. I'm sure they'll do okay for the moment. I don't usually see Ireland join either into like the Allies. They have done that in like past games, but these guys are actually more like a detriment to like the United Kingdom and like a help because they don't have a whole lot of like brigades to their name, and like that's like a tantalizing target for like the Germans to invade. Like, they can actually go up and hit Ireland up there if they want to. By the way, something I know about garrisoning things is that you actually have like more like divisions that can leave while they're garrisoning stuff. So basically, they can like hold like lots of land basically to garrison it. These guys just move around. Alright, there's that popping up finally. I really don't have a whole lot to do at this point for like stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff to do here for this stuff either. I could go for naval production though. I think I might do that. Let's just like start, I know there's like continuous focuses down here basically that aren't like the other stuff up here. If you pick like one of these things, they basically improve something over time, like constantly. So if you pick like air production, you like build fighters and like stuff like that faster. If I like do construction repair like infrastructure faster. But basically this stuff over here basically gives you like advantages in like tech and stuff like that stat. So it's usually worth getting this stuff first. This is like very small like effects you basically get if you want to. I'm surprised my manpower is still at 0 because I do have like the next like thing up, so I should be actually getting more like replacements for my military and such. My guys are still moving quite heavily, but that's fine. Well, there's Destroyer 2 out of the way. Let's work on Destroyer 3. Get that out of the way quickly. I should actually show you off some things I can actually do while I'm like, not able to do anything for the most part. Basically, something to note by the way in this game is that if you want to, you can actually like help out your your friends, shall we say, without actually joining their wars. And that's actually something I could do right now. So maybe I'll try and show that off. Let's go to Germans, for example, I guess. How we're doing for production, I guess. So this is still upgrading. We're still like building this stuff, I guess, for the most part, for whatever reason. Let's go to the Germans here. And I'm just going to go over to them and say, do you want some stuff, some free stuff? We're basically going to start a land lease. So we can basically support other countries who are at war by sending them equipment. I'm basically going to send this guy. Let's see here. Let's go to my infantry equipment free, because this is basically the best type of like, infantry equipment you can basically get in this game. I'm going to basically send him 40% of this stuff, basically, to, like, of my monthly production for him to basically use. And this will basically mean that like, he'll have access to like some very awesome weapons for the most part. So I'll send him those. By the way, you can actually in like the screen see like what their like what their opinion of like other people is. Basically, red is like the stuff that people they really hate. Orange is like people they're like they have a bad opinion. For example, of people love. Apparently, like these guys have bad opinions of Germany. These people have good opinions of Germany. There's Japan. They're basically more or less the same. Over here with Japan, by the way, we're just going to go to them. We're going to say, sup. We're going to give them a land lease. You're going to have 4% of my production. Now they're going to stop that just because, why wouldn't they? I guess. So I'll help them out a little bit. And you know what? The Hungary and Romania. Let's actually offer them a little bit of artillery, I think. So. By the way, I have lots of stuff in here to make use of. And by the way, you can actually see where you capture this stuff from. So this is stuff that basically I have from different nations. This stuff down here. So there's the flags of Panama, of whatever nation I basically conquered. By the way, something to note. By the way, I've been handling beating these guys for the most part because I have better equipment than them. This will actually change as the game progresses because I'll have the same equipment as people. But I rushed my infantry equipment, which basically gave me a huge advantage for killing them. Let's see here. I'm going to go, I think, and give... This improved artillery. We're just going to give him a percentage of 20%. And we're going to offer this guy some... improved artillery, 20%. Japan accepted our land lease. Their material support will help their efforts. So will Great Hungary, Legionary Romania, and German Reich. So basically now I'm giving them lots and lots of stuff basically to make use of for the war effort. And I actually want you. This guy's been basically patrolling these waters, so doesn't really need to do anymore, so let's just have you go over to that highway right there. Hey, look, I got manpower again. Alright, let's just get this out of the way. Cool. We're just going to drop all these fighters on my, general down here, so we're just going to add that to him. And when I get a chance, I'll basically combine these, I guess. It's interception, why not? Alright, down over here, let's go after an improved artillery upgrade 2. I'm basically trying to get the advanced artillery to start building those things, I guess. It's basically what I'm trying to do it for research, by the way. And yeah, I'm doing lots of research all at once right here, which is good. And how's my relations with you improving, if any at all? Huh. It actually does work a little bit. Cool. We're currently at 20 positive and 20 negative. So I need one more positive, and then I can actually get a military active of Peru. And why not? We'll get our war support up as I said I was going to. Excellent, we got that. Now, in the land auctions right here, by the way, I got a couple of things I can do here. I'll note for each of these things, it really depends on what type of forces you basically have. Tactic control. I'll note, by the way, that of this stuff here, I usually like this line of stuff better than this stuff because it's it's for tank and armor variants and basically this is if you have tanks in your army and you want hard attack. This stuff is basically for your infantry, for example, or your motorized vehicles, which is also pretty good. So let's just go after this for now, I think. And look at that, we got ourselves destroyer free, so that's out of the way. So let's go after battleship free, perhaps. You know, I might build a second battle cruisers because I'm like, you know, actually building these pretty fast. We'll build 2 battle cruisers, I guess. I'll note, by the way, in regard to ships, there's like different types of ships you can basically have in this game. Each of them like have like a sort of like different like, you know, sort of idea for what they're basically sort of like used for. For example, battle cruisers and battleships are basically used to like, you know, shell like, you know, land like targets or like take out like other like naval vessels. The battleships basically like your standard like, you know, kill other naval like vessel type of thing. Battle cruisers are basically faster. You know, they're basically able to like, you know, catch like, you know, guys the battleship wouldn't be able to. They're not as strong as a battleship. Finnish don't like me, blah blah blah. Don't really care. I'll note that for like, you know, the light cruiser, destroyer, and heavy cruiser. Destroyers are basically used to like screen for like your like, you know, heavier ships. These guys are basically meant to like destroy subs or well, in like actual history, these guys destroyers are actually used as like, you know, they're actually not actually called destroyers. I'll note that with like destroyers, by the way, their name actually is derived from an old name called torpedo boat destroyer, because there's actually a naval vessel called a torpedo boat. And torpedo boats were basically like these little small ships that are used to like, you know, launch torpedoes at like bigger ships. And they're actually a real bane of like the Japanese Navy because in like World War II, for example, you'd have like all these American torpedo boats basically going out on the waters, taking out their like, you know, bigger ships with torpedoes. And destroyer is basically, its purpose is basically to protect against those you know, torpedo boats. That's basically what the name is all about. It's basically torpedo boat destroyer. That's its purpose in life. Though destroyers in this game, they're basically, you know, what the standard destroyer of today, or the destroyers of today, are all about. They're basically used to like, you know, destroy submarines and like, you know, screen fight the, you know, the bigger ships against like, you know, that type of thing. But in like, you know, history, they were actually used to like destroy smaller ships than that could actually inflict huge losses on battleships, for example. I'll note that light cruisers are very much the same way. They're a little bit more focusing on aircraft. These guys are used to like to shoot down aircraft, and they can actually destroy destroyers as well, but they're basically meant to like destroy aircraft for the most part. Heavy cruisers are basically a jack-all-trade type of vessel. These guys are like basically used to like, you know, take out like the lighter cruisers and destroyer frees, while also being able to like, you know, shell targets and like, you know, on land, and like, you know, also like, you know, just do other stuff. Like if I go right here, for example, these guys basically have like, you know, short bombard of 5. They have a small sub detection. They basically have a little bit of anti-air. They're basically like a jack-of-all-trades that you can basically use if like, you don't want to build like this stuff for the most part. You still need like to build these guys to destroy like, you know, the submarines with depth charges, but you know, these are still pretty powerful for what they are. These guys also have depth charges, the light cruisers, by the way. So yeah, basically got like your like, you know, your screening ships. Then you got like, you know, your jack-of-all-trade type of ship. Your like, you know, destroyer type, you know, naval destroyer type of ships. Although, by the way, there's also super heavy battleship too, or super heavy battleships. They're basically like, you know, the cream of the crop in like terms of like, you know, destroying like other naval vessels. But these things are actually like, you know, very like costly, like the man like, with service, for example. And if they get destroyed, they're like, you know, it's a big loss because like, you know, that's a lot of production basically to like build this. Like if you look at like the basic battleship, they're like almost twice the cost to like the super heavy battleship 2s. Though I'll note that one big advantage of like the super heavy battleship 2s is that, or super heavy battleships in general, these things actually take a beating to like go down, so they're actually very hard to destroy. For those who don't know a little bit about history, there's actually a very strong German super heavy battleship that they actually had in World War II, and this German super heavy battleship they had, I think it's called the Bismarck. It basically, the United Kingdom, to destroy it, they had to get lucky. They actually had to hit its rudder so that it was unable to basically move toward port. And once basically they hit the rudder and they knew that it is unable to like get to, you know, it basically was going in circles around in the water, and they couldn't, and like they figured out, oh, we hit its rudder. They sent basically everything to attack it. Like basically they sent every single vessel they basically had to take it down because they were so damn powerful to take down. That's basically what the super heavy battleship was all about. They're like super powerful ships that took like, you know, a beating, and they can also dish out a beating as well. And I'll note by the way that besides like the actual conventional naval vessels, you also have like the other ones. You got like carriers and submarines. Carriers are basically like, of course, your standard aircraft carrier. They like have like naval ships to attack like other ships with like their planes and such, or like land targets. Submarines are basically like cheap, very very cheap. 600 production cost to build one submarine, and like these things are basically used to like take down carriers and like battleships if like there's no destroyers present to basically stop them, or they're used to like take down convoys which are basically unprotected. Alright, so that's basically a little bit like the naval vessel. Note that like by the way for the aircraft there's like also variants for this stuff as well. Since like I got time basically to explain it all. Basically with like the close air support type of vessel ships or aircraft. These things are like used to help like suppress like enemy forces in like ground combat. So you have this guy around and he'll basically shoot at like ground targets and like help like out your forces, like your ground forces in their attack. The fighter is basically used to like protect like your other like naval air vessels. So these guys are used like to protect bombers and basically shoot down other like air vessels if they can. And then you also got the naval bombers. These guys are basically all about like basically the naval bombers are like the standard bombers you have like in like if you watch like the like old black and white film like Midway I think it was, or like it was basically an island battle in like the Pacific for like the where like the Japanese tried to like attack a certain island in an island that was controlled by the Americans. The naval bombers are basically like these are basically the type of aircraft that were basically used in that battle to basically take out like all the Japanese carriers, and they're basically like that's what they're basically all about. They're basically about destroying other naval vessels. Then you got like the heavier stuff here. We got the heavy fighter. Basically, these are like these are like fighters, except that they're not as agile. They're basically used to go longer distances. You got tactical bombers. These are basically like they're basically like your jack of all trades bomber. They're used to like attack stuff in like close range. They're used to attack like industries. They're used to attack ships. They're used to attack ports. They attack everything. And then of course you got the strategic bomber. And for those who don't know what that's probably is all about, I'll just say one word: flying fortress. That's what this thing is. Alright, I'm done rambling about this stuff. Let's just get back to playing the game. Although at this point, by the way, it's probably going to be a very boring Let's Play at this point, because I am, for the most part, just waiting for my stuff to get researched here. And, well, we're basically just watching this guy's war over here for the most part. Though it might change if I'm actually able to get this guy's like opinion of me up a little bit. And it went down apparently. Oh no, it went up. Never mind. Can I improve my relations just a little bit more? Alright, so I know at this point we're basically getting repairs slowly done over here. And what I want to do here for the most part is I actually want to build up infrastructure where I don't have it. Let's build up that stuff up to at least 4. I'll note by the way that this like territory over here, this is like part of like the Amazon for the most part, so I'm not really too like keen on like developing this area because it's basically a useless area. I'll note that a lot of the Amazon's in Brazil over here, so they basically have like this entire area is Amazonias, so that's basically all like crappy territory that really can't be done for anything for the most part. There's also a little bit of crappy territory up here, but at least they got it next to the coast, so they can actually do stuff with that. That's also pretty crappy territory right there. This territory at least has some force in it, so it's not as bad, but... I'll note that with Brazil, by the way, I actually could probably try and take on Brazil, but the thing about them is that they're just a huge slog to get to, because they have to go through such crappy territory to get to like the main cities and stuff. It's not really worth it. It's worth it to come like from the sea and like attack like all their like places that way, but not really from like the land base for the most part. I can make decisions, of course. Hey, streamline line is done. Cool. Alright, so that's basically out of the way. That's being researched. That's being researched. I said I was going to research something down here. I'm not worried of like of the support companies. There's actually one I really want to basically get, and that's basically Field Hospital. And Field Hospital is very important because it'll basically let me, like, you know, keep my guys alive with like my very limited manpower. So let's start working on this, I think. I know as well, by the way, that another one I may want to get is, like, you know, possibly, like, you know, logistics company, which is actually very good for, like, you know, the Americas. Recon company is also pretty good because it lets you basically move around a little bit faster. All basically good stuff down here, basically. You know, it still have unfilled request, but I don't really see it. Oh, there it is. I'm not worried that something to watch out for. One of the reasons I basically didn't go all the way full for, like, you know, getting like production for these guys is because they can actually, like, you know, lower it if you're not careful. Basically, something about trade in this game is that you'll basically have your trade going out to, like, you know, whoever they like have like the best influence with. So with us, we only have like the very limited 64 trade influence with them. So anyone can basically get, like, you know, higher trade with us if they want to. Like, basically, anyone is able to, like, you know, out-trade us and basically get the resources that we want from them. So, basically, getting the resources from Australia is not necessarily something that's going to happen for me, which is something I have to watch out for. I may actually want to go after National Spain here, I guess. So they got the extra stuff there. And we got from Japan as well, I guess. Yeah, I have to watch out for, like, who you trade with, because sometimes, like, you know, you'll have issues of, like, basically who's basically getting trade stuff, the trade goods. You know, something I might want to do at this point, actually I haven't been doing this, but you can actually change the colors for, like, your armies. I guess I have changed it because this guy's got the green here, but I have to make sure, like, these guys have, like, different, like, symbols and stuff for, like, what they're basically all about. So let's have this guy just be, let's have him be a star, and you can be a red star, and this guy can be a heart. That's fine. You can be a purple heart, and then we're just gonna make this guy be gold. Armor group 1 is gold. Hey, cool, I improve advanced artillery now. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, at this point, I think we're actually in a good spot to start training you guys up a little bit. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's just do that right there. Let's get these guys to train up a little bit so, you know, all their guys can be, like, fully trained. And I'm making, like, all the guys train here because they all have, like, you know, injured, like, you know, battalions that have to get replenished, so, or retrained rather. Cool, that's all done. Although this guy didn't take a lot of casualties, so I can actually stop him from training. So let's just do that right now. These guys, the Air 2 armies, they actually took a lot of casualties, so they actually have a lot of guys that need retraining. Unfortunately. By the way, you can actually see, like, deliveries and making of land lease over here in, like, the recruit and deploy screen. So, as you can see, I'm basically, like, shipping lots of, like, infantry equipment over to, like, Japan and Germany. And hopefully this will help make a difference in their war efforts because, like, it'll basically help their production a little bit because, like, it'll always help, I guess. By the way, that delivery efficiency basically means, like, how often, like, your, like, the convoys that they're saying are getting, like, killed. Like, these, like, these, like, countries I'm basically saying to, they're, like, over the water, so they're basically what's happening with, like, these guys. The Germans are basically having to, like, send their convoys through, like, Allied territory, like, Allied waters here. So either, like, they're having to, like, do up over here through, like, to Italy, or they're having to go up here, over here to, like, France and Germany. That's a lot of area which the Allies could try and cover with their naval vessels if they can. And Japan apparently doesn't have very good, like, convoy efficiency. They've only got, like, so many convoys in Japan. And, like, some of their convoys aren't getting there, so, like, they don't get all the, like, resources I'm basically giving them, unfortunately. But whatever. I might actually drop that down a little bit, actually. Give my, like, guns to, like, Hungary or Romania to, like, do instead. Let's just do that now, I think. We'll go to Japan here. We're just going to modify the land lease. And let's just drop this down to 10%. By the way, I can also send convoys if I want to. That actually might make sense, just so I can, like, ship over stuff. But, yeah, whatever. We'll basically focus our efforts on helping, like, the European theater for the most part, I guess. And look at that, they're actually trying naval invasions over here. They're going for Normandy, the Americans, already, in 1943. But yeah, let's just go down here to these guys. We're going to go modify land lease, and we'll give them... Ah, did I not do the right type of thing with them? Ah, well, that's fine. You know what? Let's just give him 1,000 of this stuff. This once. We're going to give you 1,000 of artillery once. And then, when this basically happens again, I'm going to go in here, I'm basically going to give him... There. Enjoy, Romania! That should help to make a difference. I just realized something, by the way, with Hungary there. Hungary is actually a landlocked nation. It can't actually get, like, stuff from the sea, I don't think, so... If I go here of, like, Hungary... Yeah, there's no legal transport path for, like, their stuff, so they actually can't get their, like, equipment. With, like, these guys here, Romania, they at least have, like, access to water, so I can actually send them stuff. Because I don't think these guys can get stuff. We'll basically see what happens in 21 days if they get anything or not. Now, I want to note something, by the way, but apparently the Soviets are forced back to Germans over here, which is kind of an issue for them. And apparently we do have a D-Day happening over here, so they have landed the Americans. There's not enough troops basically to stop the rush from Americans over here in France. So we might be seeing a downfall of, like, the German Reich over here, unfortunately. Which means I'll probably have to, like, consider what I'm going to have to basically do about that. Let's see here. Let's get this for now. Greece says blah, blah, we are not very happy. Denmark's slowly being liberated. Yes, this doesn't appear to be the fall of the German Empire happening already. I will note that Japan is doing quite well, taking out, like, parts of, like, Russia over here. Oh well. I'll note, by the way, that if, like, the World War ends with these guys before, like, 1945, it won't actually end the game. Something up with this game is that usually around 1950, if it's, like, no World War, like, done in, like, 1950, I guess it is, the game will basically end because, like, this game, like, only goes on for, like, 14 years. Unless, of course, there's another World War going on at that point, which basically means it'll basically keep going until, like, the World War ends. Basically what I'm saying here, this game is actually, like, it's basically made to be, like, you're basically going to have world wars happening until, like, 1950s in this game. Once the 1950s basically happens, if there's no world war going on, the game basically says, okay, you're done. Oh! Oh, they're happening now. So there's Pax America happening. So, basically, once you see Pax America happen with these guys, it means you can't invade, like, other, like, American, like, countries. They usually do this around 1943, so, that's basically, like, I won't be able to do anything with, like, Chile or anything down there at this point as a result. But anyways, over here, U.S. influence. The United States' advocacy for democracy is starting to affect our country. Radio broadcasts allow speeches from Franklin Delano Roosevelt to reach our people, and we have found many Hondurans being attracted to the American way of life. Central American Empire is no puppet, nor will we allow politics to be dictated by the United States. However, we cannot deny the influence the American politics have on our country. In our hearts, we will always be Honduran. So yes, now we're going to see U.S. influence at this point. U.S. influence is basically, what this will basically do. If I, like, go to, like, my country here, I'm basically going to have, like, a small, like, change of, like, people basically going over to, like, the PLH, which is the Democratic, like, leader for this guy. Basically, see U.S. influence +5, so we're basically going to lose, like, our, like, Honduran guys for, like, the democracy. I've actually seen, like, Pax America, by the way, or, like, the thing I actually got right before Pax America. I'll just go to this quickly. The South American, like, focus right here. If he gets this, I've actually seen this happen where he's actually turned, like, Brazil democratic, he's turned Peru from fascist to democratic. He can actually do that with his influence at this point, so if it's enough time, he'll basically be able to do that. That's something to know about the United States. They can actually make everyone in this continent, democratic if they want to. Alright, I got my battleship 3 out of the way. Let's go get our Destroyer 4 out of the way, I guess. We're close enough to, like, 1944 at this point, so I don't really, care about the penalty I'll basically get for that. I'm going to watch this a little bit more closely, I guess, basically see if they have a chance of basically pushing back, like, the invaders for the most part. They're actually doing quite well here, the forces up here. And apparently an overrun happened, that's interesting. Overruns are basically when, like, they overrun the enemy forces and destroy battalions. It's actually a nice thing they can do. I'll say this now, I don't think the Germans can actually win this battle anymore because they're not making any progress at this point. Basically, if they don't have access to your Kiev or Minsk by, like, 1944, That's usually a good indication that, like, you know, they've lost the Germans. Especially since they don't have Greece down here and actually getting pushed back by, like, you know, forces down here. Though, at the same time, I'm not really sure, because they got, like, there's Japanese over here fighting, basically, you know, dearly over here, for example. By the way, can I promote you on anything? That's a no of you. That's a no of you. Ah, okay, we can get this guy some stuff. Alright, so let's give my Field Marshal guy some stuff here. Planning speed for a planner. Offensive Doctrine. Max Entrenchment. Reinforcement 8. I like to get charismatic quite a bit a lot of the time, so let's get that for him. I'll note that the reason I'm actually getting my command power spent right now is because I'm actually thinking about going to Japan here and being like, you know, you want a military attaché to help yourself out? Because that's something I can actually do. And I can see it's starting to happen right there. I basically start slowly losing my popularity for fascist here. It's slowly going down, almost down to 99%. Alright, look at that. We basically built our battleship, or battlecruiser rather. We're going to build one more battlecruiser. Just to throw it out there. And there they are right there. 2 battlecruisers. And just my destroyer 1, you can just go over there. I'm not sure I'm really going to use the Navy, but, you know, I'll build up a small Navy. I'll note that with, like, you know, if you play with Colombia, by the way, there's an achievement where you have to build 10 battleships and, like, you know, conquer Venezuela's, Ecuador and Peru with, like, Colombia in order, like, to get an achievement. That was a fun achievement to do. I think I already stated I basically got that achievement, but that achievement is actually really hard to get because conquering like these like nations before like, you know, 1940, like, you know, 4 when like, you know, Pax America pops off. Or sometimes like, you know, America will actually do Pax America earlier than that, and like it'll like screw you over. But it's actually hard to do regardless of getting like, you know, these like free countries conquer Colombia, and then building 10 battleships takes a while after that as well. Very lengthy achievement to basically get. You know, we ran a lot for this like, you know, episode, I think. Here's Field Hospital. And on top of Field Hospital, I might want to get Logistics Company. This will actually, like, you know, reduce supply usage a little bit. Why not? We'll get that, I think. There's my advanced artillery popping up. And wow, let's get this as well. We can now update my improved artillery to be advanced artillery. And yeah, these guys still haven't gotten their fame because, like, you know, there is no path basically to get to them, so... Let's just go to Hungary and say, nope, you're not going to get this stuff because you can't get this stuff, so... And why, we'll go to Romania here and say... I don't know what happened to my improvement to it, but I got this stuff over here, I guess, to send, so... We can send some of Venezuelan, you know, artillery I captured. Send this once. There we go. It probably won't make a lick of difference for the Romanians, but, you know, it's fun to do, I guess. That's about this game, you know, it's all about the fun. What type of fun can you have? Alright, cool. We actually built up our roads already. You know what? Let's get this up to 6. Get that up to 6. 6. 6. 8. And we'll just keep building up roads, I think. By the way, something to know about roads is that they actually improve like your output for like, you know, your like resources and stuff. They also increase your factory output as well, which is primarily why I'm building these roads. Oh. Well, now there might actually be a chance for Germany to win. Because these guys joined the fray. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, one last thing I want to do before I basically leave you guys. We're just going to go over here. We're just going to put it in the field hospital because we're going to, you know, build field hospital for these guys. These guys are all trained, but after I get field hospital for all my infantry, they're going to need to train again, so we'll leave this on. And you know what? Well, let's just leave it right here. Perhaps there's still hope for Axis to win. Not like nationalist Spain is basically helping them out. That's such a huge, you know, how many battalions do these guys have, I wonder? What type of potential does Spain have? Well, whatever. Next time, I think for now, this has actually been a fairly long episode, I think, at this point. I'm actually not sure how long it's gone, but I think it's been for, you know, at least over an hour, so I'll leave it here. Hope you guys enjoyed and take care. By the way, that's my score. 23-26. Keep men, lose land. Land can be taken again. Keep land, lose men. Land and men are both lost. Whoever said that, I can't say a name.